Well, welcome everybody back to the Flying Doghouse. It's cold and dark start day. We're going to take a look at another aircraft. We're going to take a look at the Cubcrafters XCub. And we're going to have a flight from first flight over to Manteo, per usual. Check this out. We'll also do a cold and dark start. We'll do a little bit of a walk around. We'll talk about some of those features, perhaps from a beginner's perspective. And then we'll make our landing over at Manteo, and we'll share thoughts around the aircraft. So let's get going. All right. So this is a American-built aircraft. It's started production in June of 2016, and it's also based on a vintage 1949 Piper PA-18 Super Cub. The main difference is here, obviously, that this is a mixed composite construction. So it's very, very cool. This aircraft is currently in production. So there we go. It's a lot of fun. It's what I call the happy looking plane. The front of the aircraft looks like a smiling person, so it's quite charming. At any rate, what else would you want to know about the XCub? Well, crew of one passenger. Length 23 feet 10 inches, wingspan 34 feet 4 inches, 8 feet 4 inches in height, 174.8 square feet of wing area, gross weight 2,300 pounds, fuel capacity 49 gallons, and a single engine. It's a lot of fun. All right, let's also take a look at the performance data. Okay, maximum speed 153 miles an hour, cruise 145, stall speed is 39. The never exceed speed is 167, range 800 miles. Endurance 6 hours, service ceiling 14,000 feet, and a rate of climb of 1,500 feet a minute. So it's quite nimble. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to jump over onto the ramp at first flight. We'll have a walk around, and we'll get the aircraft started, and then we'll have our flight. Okay, so here we are at first flight. For our first flight, we'll get the aircraft started up here in just a minute. I thought it would be good for folks who may be watching this video who have not done much in Flightsim 2024 or are new to the sim period. If not, chapter markers are your friend. Okay, so I'm going to click ready to fly here. And while that's doing its thing, there we go. I grabbed my Xbox controller. So certainly an Xbox controller is a must-have here. You really do need one. It makes this a lot easier. Okay. So, variety of inspection points, and that's what the toggle pins are. Little white dots scattered around and about the aircraft. One of the things that's a good must to do would be taking care of the chocks, and we'll also take off the engine covers. And if you enjoy being able to see your airspeed, you might want to take the pitot cover off. at any rate. I mean, one of the good things about 24 is you do have the electronic flight bag. But as you can see, there are lots of different inspection points here scattered around and about the aircraft. So you can take a look at the tire condition and all those other fun things. Texturing on the aircraft is very good. Very impressed with it. Very, very nice. All right, so obviously this this XCub design is a classic. At any rate, let me know what you'd like to see in terms of additional aircraft. So right now I'm working on mostly general aviation overviews here, but I think I'm going to also take a look at some of the military aircraft that are available, and I'm definitely going to do some additional things with the C-47 and the DC3, so expect to see that. Should see here. All right, enough yakking about that. Okay, so I'll make it easy to get here too. We'll put a chapter marker here on looking at the camera views. Okay, so shift 1, right to the middle of the console. Shift 2, co-pilot side with our light switches and additional circuit breakers and our starter switch, cabin heat. Shift 3, pilot side. So master battery is located over here along with the alternator and the magnetos and the fuel pump. Shift 4 takes you up overhead pilot's head for the flap lever. Shift 5 will put you to the fuel indicator gauge. It's above your head. So it looks like we got 15 gallons of fuel. Shift 6 takes us to the door so that we can see our mixture and prop and throttle. Parking brake down here. Shift 7, Shift 8 takes us to the tablet. 9 back out front. All right, so you can decide whether or not you need to adjust accordingly in terms of your camera views. Let's go ahead and cut the master battery on here and the alternator. And for grins and giggles, we'll go ahead and get the magnetos turned on so that we don't have a problem with our start. Okay, so you can see the fuel selector is clearly in the off range. So single clicking will change the settings. So wherever this arm is pointing is what we have selected. So we've got right, so that's good. We'll start on the right tank. And just kind of zooming in here on the detail of the switch. Very well done. Okay, so back up top. All right, so we've got battery on, we've got alternator on, we've got our magnetos on. Since we're getting ready to start this up, we probably need to let the ground crew know that we're going to be creating some shenanigans here in a moment. We'll cut the pulse on too. All right, we'll yell our clear prop. Sure, our parking brake is on, and it is. And we've got a good engine start here. Go ahead and cut the avionics master on. Let that get warmed up and synchronized. Okay. We got some very basic autopilot functionality located here too, if you want to take advantage of that. And we have a digital artificial horizon here, setting the barometric pressure There's a knob for that as well. All right. So no real surprises in terms of how the cockpit's laid out with this. Let's jump outside. Looks good. Okay, I think we're ready for our taxi. All right, and to save time, I'm going to pause recording and we'll jump over to the end of runway 3 and we'll take off and we'll fly over to Manteo, a short flight. So we've been doing that the last couple of these, and I think it's a perfect flight length for giving folks a feel for how particularly general aviation aircraft work. So a little short flight over to Manteo, and then we'll talk about thoughts about how the aircraft performs and behaves. And we'll get some of that along the way. All right. Okay, we are sitting at the end of runway 3 here. We're ready for our takeoff roll. We'll get going. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off and we'll turn right over into the and fly over the Atlantic coast. We'll make our way down to Jockey Ridge State Park, and then we will land over at Manteo. It'll be a good quick test here for the XCub, and it comes off the ground rather easily. I can climb out here, up and away over the pylons. And it's a fun little plane. Make a turn here. And a good shot of first flight. And we'll make our way down to Jockey Ridge State Park. Sim seems to be behaving pretty well today. That's great. And if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, you gotta download that new NVIDIA app. It makes a huge difference in terms of the stability of Flight Sim 2024. That one thing has moved me from frustration and despair into hope and being hopeful. I'll knock on wood. It's been 4 days now since I've had to crash the desktop, and I have not had one CTD since I installed that and updated my drivers. So we might be good to go. I don't know. At any rate, aircraft very stable, fun to fly. Definitely highly recommend this for folks who are wanting to move from a 172 and then give a tail dragger a try. I would not recommend necessarily jumping into the Draco without having done at least a little something in a slightly less torqueful tail dragger. Gear mileage may vary, of course, but anyway, I think it's a logical step for someone who is new to the flight sim community to try something a little different. The other thing that has made a world of difference, I think, too, is investing time in tweaking your sensitivity settings for your controls. I have spent quite a bit of time now fiddling around with my rotor pedals, and finally I think I have gotten them to a good state. And there you have it. Certainly SPAD Next has also made it easier for me to deal with my other peripherals. So I've got a couple of the Logitech panels that I use for comm radio stuff and autopilot and some of those fun things, so that I'm not having to fiddle quite as much with the mouse. Having the trim wheel and flaps and parking brake and some of those things make a big difference. Alright, so we are making our way into first flight, or not first flight, Manteo. Sorry about that. And we're well on our way with our approach here. I'm going to drop some additional flap here in a minute. Scrub off a little more of this airspeed. And I was doing a little bit of side slipping here to burn off some of the altitude that we had, and the airplane responded nicely to that. And we're in good shape here on finals. So we're at 400, 350, 300, 250, 200, 150, and we are over the keys. And gentle as we go. Here we are. And we'll get ourselves slowed down here. Make our way off the active. Alright, so thoughts about the plane. Well, I would definitely say it's, it's very generic feeling, but not in a bad way. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, I think it's a great next step for somebody who wants to try something a little different than the 152. That's not a twin engine or a turbo. Give the tail dragger a try. It's, it just takes some time and some practice, and it will put you in good stead for trying other things later on. Like the Beaver and the DC3. So, good solid performer. Definitely something that you'll use if you're interested in the advertising adventures that are available in 24. And we'll turn here and make our way over to parking. Oh, we got a levitating airplane today. Gotta love it. Gots to love it. All right. So if you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe. We'd love to have you as a channel member. Lots of stuff forthcoming. Got some interesting group flights planned, and we'll continue to do the aircraft overviews here. Cold and dark starts. If there's a particular airplane that you are interested in, please let me know in the comment section below. Also, I do use the post section of the site for polls and interaction, so love to hear from you over there as well. All right, Cubcrafters XCub. It's a rock solid choice here in the sim. It's a fun one. All right, I hope everybody is keeping well. And until next time, cheers, y'all.